Hey everybody, Jammer here. So the Smash Fighter Ballot will be ending this weekend. I know, I can't believe it. It's already almost over and there's only a little bit left time to vote. So anyways, I thought I was going to do a quick video to just run through like the top 10 most requested characters that most fans seem to agree upon that those are the top contenders so far in this ballot. And I'm just going to touch on whether I believe that they do actually stand a chance in this ballot and how I think they could be incorporated into Smash Bros. So starting with number 10 is Shantae. Now, you may not know who she is, she's a little bit obscure, but she's actually pretty relevant on Nintendo consoles. Her character was developed by WayForward Games and appeared on many iterations of the Game Boy console. The gameplay was a simple 2D platformer where she would use her ponytail as a whip to attack enemies. So it would be pretty easy to draw a moveset from that, of course. But as with all third-party character agreements, they're still going to have to bang out some sort of agreement with the company to get the character in the game and whatnot. So there could be complications there that might hinder her chances, but I still think she would make a pretty great choice. Now number 9 is Paper Mario. Now I know what you're thinking, really another representative from the Mario franchise? Well, to silence all that, Mario is Nintendo's flagship franchise, so they're allowed to include as many characters from that series as they want. The other argument is really another Mario. We already have Mario and Dr. Mario, which would be a perfectly valid argument, but Paper Mario has many aspects that both of the other two don't have. For example, he uses a hammer in a lot of his attacks, plus he can incorporate some of his other paper special moves such as turning into an airplane, a boat, going paper thin, and etc. Personally, he's actually one of my top picks for the ballot, and I really hope he gets in because I think he'd be really unique and fun to play, and I just love the series as a whole. So number 8 is Shovel Knight. Now this was actually really surprising just because an indie character is getting so much love and support to reach this high in the ballot. It's no question that his game's amazing and it captures all the amazing aspects of the retro consoles. Heck, he's even planning to get an amiibo very soon, which definitely leans in his favor of perhaps being included in Smash someday. Plus, he has a wide array of attacks that not many other characters would share with him, so he could easily have a somewhat unique moveset. Number 7 is Bandana Dee. Now this character's from the Kirby series, and you might recognize the Waddle Dees as what used to be part of King Dedede's side special and then is now an enemy in Smash Run. If a fourth member was to be included from the Kirby series, this one probably would make the best sense. I mean, you've played as him a couple times, such as in Return to Dreamland on the Wii. Plus this character has come to help out Kirby a couple of times throughout his adventures as well. There is no specific spear wielder either, so I'm sure they could draw many innovative attacks that would be pretty special to this character. However, like the Mario series, the Kirby series also has plenty of representatives. So I feel like they may opt to add characters to series that haven't received as many representatives. Now number 6 is Inkling from Splatoon, a game that actually just recently came out. And so far people have been going crazy for it. I personally love playing the game. So this situation is a little weird for them, especially since technically they are considered in Smash, instead as Mii fighter costumes rather than a full-blown character. Personally, I feel like this hurts their chances just a little bit, since the costume came before this DLC character's release. However, if they do good enough in the polls, maybe it'll still happen regardless. Besides, there's plenty of moves they could pull from, such as going into squid form to do a roll or a dodge, or the recovery move to mimic the quick jump ability, and much more. Number 5 is Snake. Now, he did get included in Brawl, but I personally don't really feel like he's gonna make it in. I'm sure it would be kind of easy just to bring him right over from Brawl, and there wouldn't be much, creation process actually thinking of a moveset and whatnot. But I think the two biggest problems, of course, is first having to deal with Konami and trying to get the rights for him and whatnot, which in a hypothetical situation, let's say they do work with them. The other problem I feel like is this new Smash game is a little bit more cartoony and like child friendly, I guess, compared to what Brawl's more realistic looking graphic style, because he already kind of looked out of place a little bit in Brawl. I just feel like in this game he wouldn't fit in just as well, especially since a lot of his moves are already basically toned down and censored to a point where a lot of the guns and knives he uses regularly will be unapparent in his moveset. I know there are a lot of Snake fans out there that are probably disappointed about me saying this. I mean, I too liked playing as him in Brawl as well, but I feel like that was kind of just like a one-time thing And looking back, it'll be cool he was included, but I think that Nintendo's just going to move on from there without him. So number 4 is Wolf from Starfox. So he was included in Brawl as well, and a lot of people are actually very upset that he was left behind for this new game. Now before Smash 4 released, I was in total agreement that Wolf wouldn't be appearing in this iteration of Smash, just because with Starfox already having 3 representatives having nearly identical movesets, yes, there are some variations in between each other, but in essence it's still the same basic formula with just added twists for each character. Now don't get me wrong, I love playing as all 3 of them individually, but at the time that's what I was feeling. However, now that Star Fox Wii U is in development and was at least supposed to come out this holiday season, it was gonna make a lot of sense to maybe release him alongside the release of Star Fox Zero, but now that that game's been delayed, I feel like if he does end up coming to Smash, they may want to push him back to coincide with the release date of that game. So number 3 is Banjo and Kazooie. Again, like Shantae, this character was very prevalent on Nintendo consoles, and perhaps if Microsoft had never bought out Rare, we may have actually seen this character be included in a past iteration of Smash. I actually did an analysis on this character a little while back, so if you want to check that video out, I'll be sure to put an annotation and a link in the description below. I think one of the bigger arguments against his conclusion is that we already technically have a mammal and bird duo being Duck Hunt, but their movesets would be very obviously differentiated because Duck Hunt's way based around, you know, the pixel arted gunmen and then the shooting of the clay pigeons, while Banjo is going to be a lot more based around what he does in his games, and that has nothing to do with each other. So I feel like he would be an also really good inclusion into Smash. There's just of course the legal hoops that they gotta jump through and whatnot. So number 2 is Isaac, and this character is from Golden Sun, and I would not be surprised if you've never heard of this character. He's from a line of 3 games that were on the Game Boy, which are these awesome turn-based RPGs that are amazing, and I definitely recommend you should check them out. His combat is a mix of swords play and this magic called Psyche, so there is a little bit of a chance that he may be confused with Robin. However, his magic's more rock and earth based compared to how Robin uses, you know, lightning and fire and whatnot. He actually did make an appearance in Brawl as an assist trophy. He was that character that shot out those really annoying hands that would push you off the screen, but he became mysteriously absent for this iteration of Smash, so a lot of people were speculating that he would have been included a while back before the game did end up releasing. However, he was just mysteriously dropped for unknown reasons, which maybe he was just too annoying, I don't know. Anyways, I feel like he would be a pretty cool inclusion in Smash. However, he's still a little bit niche. Well, I mean, I guess Shulk was as well, so I guess it can't hurt his chances. Finally, number 1 is the big boy himself, King K Rool. And I actually did a video on him a little whiles back as well. So if you want to check that out, I'll put an annotation and a link in the description below. Now, I'm pretty sure this character has been requested in Smash since ever. For some reason, people are just obsessed with him. Anyways, he was the villain of the Donkey Kong Country series, but since Retro started revamping and bringing back his series, he and his Kremlin crew have yet to have been brought back as the main antagonist or in any form whatsoever. But I still think it would be pretty cool to have the return of the king in Smash, which may later even hint to him returning in a new Donkey Kong Country game as well. But there's a little bit of a hiccup we have because he did get a Mii Fighter costume as well. And while in Inkling's case, of course, that was to hype up the game by showing a costume in Smash Bros. Because it was a pre-order bonus, if you remember a while back. And King K Rool's costume for the Mii Fighter seemed to come out of really nowhere. So in a way, this could kind of hurt his chances. I believe a while back, Sakurai did say something along the lines of that he would create Mii Fighter costumes for characters he couldn't think of unique movesets enough for, or just other characters he wanted to include into Smash, but didn't really have the necessary assets to get him as a fully fledged character. So characters such as like Isabelle KK Slider makes perfect sense for. But when King K Rool was announced as a character, I know a lot of fans were very upset that this could potentially mean he wouldn't be making it as a character. However, with him at the number 1 spot, maybe he'll make an exception anyways, because since if he ends up actually winning the fighter ballot, perhaps he'll have no other choice but to make him a character as well. So before I end this video, there's a couple of characters that didn't necessarily make this top 10, but I felt like I should touch on before I end it. There's Ice Climbers, which I know I want back and a lot of people want back as well. We got a definitive answer from Sakurai saying that they just wouldn't work on the 3DS, and he wants to keep the rosters for both games the same, so because it would be just too unfair to the fans that only have the 3DS version and don't really have access to a Wii U. Then there's Gina. While being very requested, and a lot of people love him, he still really isn't that relevant and hasn't really made that much of an impact on Nintendo's history. Sure, he has an awesome character design and story behind him, but I just don't feel like he has what it takes to be a full-fledged character. Perhaps maybe they'll include him as a costume, but I think that's about as high up as he could reach for now, until he's included in a new game. Besides, they still have to talk with Square and whatnot, and work out some sort of arrangement. Then there's Chibi Robo, who is just starting to get back in the starlight just now with his new game being Ziplash, and his amiibo being a kind of B-tier Nintendo character. I feel like other places will overwhelm him in the ballot. Then finally there's Ridley. Now I agree, he should have been in Smash long ago, and even Sakurai himself says he's just too big. So I think his chances for this game is little to none. But we can still hope for Smash 5, because I really hope he gets in eventually, because he would be such a unique and awesome character. But what do you guys think? Voice your opinions in the comments below. Who do you think's gonna make it in the Smash Fighter ballot? Oh, and be sure to give this video a big awesome like. Really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me lately, so thank you. And as always, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for more on Smash Bros. And more crazy Nintendo content. Thanks guys, bye.